First thing that comes to mind when I think of Tyron Woodley is a hard-hitting mamma jamma. This dude hit me with 2 right hands in the fourth round of our first fight, and I don't remember where I was after that. I mean, made my face seize up and everything. And it was one threat after the next. Probably one of the most explosive guys that I've ever had to face off against as well. He can cover the gap so fast and very, very strong. Like I said, you know, he's a big welterweight, so he cuts a lot of weight. He puts it back on very well. And in that first round, he ended up catching one of my kicks and getting me down on the ground, and I couldn't budge the guy. And there's a lot of guys that I grapple with here in my gym and that are a lot bigger, a lot stronger, but I'm able to get up. I couldn't. And that's that D1 wrestling, I think, you know, come into play, especially in that top position when he had me in that half guard situation. Very tough fighter.
You know, this is kind of a tougher question. Do you think he's the same fighter as when you fought him now?
I do not. I do not think Tyron Woodley is the same fighter as when I faced him the first time. And I couldn't really tell you why that is. You know, he's got a lot of things happening in his career. You know, I know he was doing the rap thing. So I'm not really sure why that is. I know he's 38 years old. He's a year older than me. But I feel like I am 25 years old. I feel like, you know, I can keep doing this. So I'm not really sure exactly what's going on in his head. But definitely not the same fighter. And it's almost like I don't wish for that. You know, I was wishing the last time I saw him fight, we would see just that old Tyron Woodley back. You know, not afraid to go out there and throw some hands and knock some dudes out. And we actually squashed our beef. Me and Tyron did. I was on his Instagram channel not too long ago. We, you know, chatted, and he apologized to me for, I don't know if you saw the Fox interview that we had. I was like, man, why you gotta be so mean? But it was good, man. And we had some good talks about our conversations that we had in the octagon. Yes, we had some pretty cool conversations during the fight. It was funny, man. Like, we were out there fighting. He's like, I know what you're gonna do. I'm like, no, you don't. You have no idea what I'm doing. He's gonna throw a roundhouse. I'm no, I'm gonna throw a roundhouse. And at one point, I had got him up against the cage, and I had my hand across his mouth, and he looks down, and he bites the crap out of my finger. Just bites my finger. And I felt like such a pansy, and he was laughing about it too. I was like, he bites my hand. I was like, ow. Like, in the fight, I was like, ow. And he's like, oh, my bad. I'm like, it's okay, just keep fighting. He was like, we just kept on fighting. It was weird what kind of conversations you have in the cage. But I hope he finds that flame, finds that fire that we see the old Tyron Woodley back out there.
So many things just came to mind because there was a controversy with him and Johnny Hendricks in that they never actually fought in the UFC, but supposedly in that match, it was, I can't remember who, I think it was Tyron Woodley that bit Johnny Hendricks' finger in a D1 wrestling match.
And then he said, I bit him.
And Hendricks is checking out his finger as
he just
Woodley,
gave a penalty point against Woodley.
I might have bit him. Thinking in my mind right now, if you put fingers in my mouth, I'm going to bite you. I might punch you in the face.
Oh, no way. So Tyron bit Hendrix's.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it bit my finger. He bit it. I was like, ow. Yeah, I just chomped down on it. He's like, I don't even know why I did it, man. I just saw a finger there, and I just bit it. I was like, oh, man. But, yeah, man, we squashed everything. Everything's cool, though.
But if you did end up fighting a third time, what did you learn in those 2 fights that you would bring to this third one?
If I did fight Tyron Woodley for a third time, you know, there was a lot of things that I learned the first 2 times that we fought. You know, the first time we fought, you know, he was doing a lot of backing up. Even in the second fight, I thought he was going to be more aggressive in the second fight because how easily he took me down in the first round of our first fight. So I thought he was going to use more of his wrestling. And he thought I was going to wait to counterpunch him. So we were thinking both counter-strike, 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 which is why a lot of people weren't impressed with the second fight. It was kind of boring, which I agree with them, you know. But if I ever fought him again, I would definitely be more aggressive, definitely push the pace. You know, later rounds for Tyron Woodley, he's an explosive guy, so he tends to tire out a little bit faster. When I saw him fight Rory McDonald ended up taking him down. And you just kind of saw his demeanor change after that. So maybe using a little bit more wrestling as well. Keep him guessing with the wrestling and the striking. And people are like, man, Stephen Thompson wrestling? I'm like, yeah, I mean, something that I'm always working on. Even though you don't see it during the fight, I think it was after my third fight in the UFC. I fought a guy named Nishan Burrell, and I pretty much out-wrestled Nishan. Took him down several times, but after the fight, Joe Silva comes up to me and says, "Remember, Steven, what got you here? And it wasn't your wrestling." I was like, you know what, you're right. People want to see knockouts, right? People want to see high-level striking, and that's what I have. So that's why I kind of like changed directions a little bit. And the reason I used my wrestling, because everybody thought I didn't have it. So, you know, and I use it here and there, especially when I fought Jake Ellenberger. He hit me with an inside trip, and I hit him with a lat drop. And he was, you know, a high-level wrestler as well. So use a little bit more wrestling in the fight against Tyron Woodley and be a little bit more aggressive. A little bit more aggressive. He doesn't do very well backing up. So, and if you saw his last few fights, it kind of went that route, right? Backed him up against the cage, was getting tagged up, got taken down by Burns, and you just saw he didn't have anything after that. So, and I don't like to see fighters go away like that. You know what I'm saying? I still would love to see Tyron Woodley come back and give it another go for the title for sure. So I hope he's not giving up so easily at this point. Hopefully he keeps on trucking, keeps on getting better.
Well, so I have to ask then. So I don't think anybody expected to hear you say that. That's awesome. So saying you would take him down, if that opportunity came, it presented itself, you took him down. Where would the fight go then? Would you try to tire him out, try to go for a submission, try to go for ground and pounds, any of the above, or try to tire him out so when you get back up to the feet, you get the Joe Silva, you know, dance?
Exactly. So tire him out for sure. You know, tiring off of his back. I don't know if you saw when I pulled my head out of the guillotine, how he just pulled guard. And I don't know how tired he was at the time, but he didn't have a whole lot of mobility, and it might have been the fact that he was kind of we were up against the cage. But take him down, tire him out a little bit if I could, and then stand back up, because after using those big muscles that he has, you have a tendency to fade a little bit and slow those strikes down. So I think that would be the game plan for sure. If I even did get him down, you know, I may have shot in for the leg, and sometimes if I find myself working too hard for a takedown, I'll just let it go and come up striking. But even that would keep him guessing. That adds another element that he has to think about out there in the octagon. So, yeah.